All right, everyone. Thank you for joining the Silent So Loud podcast. Today we have a very special guest. We are going to be talking to DJ TICE. So let's get him on the phone.
Hey, brother.
What's up, DJ? What's going on, man?
Just got home.
Yeah. You're on the Silent So Loud podcast, man. How you been?
I'm doing great, brother. How have you been?
I've been all right, hanging in there. So I want to tell you straight out of the gate. Sorry, I couldn't put my words in my mouth. I wanted to say, great job, like representing us, going to another country, going to Canada, man. That was a big deal, man. So just want to say that, like, we appreciate that, man. Like you know what I mean. You tell people you're from this area, and and you got to say Tampa or whatever. But it was just so cool to see you fighting in Canada, man.
Yes, sir, brother. I appreciate it. And I always tell them Plant City, baby, the itty bitty.
Plant City, right?
Yes,
So
sir. They always ask.
Right.
They don't never know where it's at. So
Right.
you gotta remind them. But,
right.
Yeah, it was crazy cold up there. -17 was the worst it was with the wind chill. It got pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's insane, man. -17. We're used to like this Florida heat, of in the 50s, 60s, whatever. It being cold. I can imagine -17. So that's what I want to really like get into, talk to you about. Like, what was it like? Like, did you go up there early? Like run us through the whole deal.
Yeah, it was a all in all great experience. BKFC really took care of me, and got me and my mom and my dad got to go up there too. I wasn't able to get my kids' passports in time to be able to bring them with me, but I was able to get some family up there. My mom and dad got up there. My dad was in my corner, so it was an awesome experience. All in all, it was the first time all of us got out of the country, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, man, a lot of people, I don't know if you've read some comments, but a lot of people, man, they're saying that BKFC, that, that they felt more, excitement, I don't want to start a rival here, but like comparing it to, the UFC, they're like, man, this thing is exciting. Watching it.
It's definitely fast paced and bang it out. If somebody's going down pretty much every time, and that's really what it's about. Get in there and get into the fight.
Right. And it's cool that you can just go online and like just watch. Like I watched the whole thing. I rewatched your fight today, and then when it originally came out, yeah, I just caught myself just sitting there watching the whole thing because I just thought the whole thing was exciting.
And it's awesome to be able to go and replay it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you already said, but you said you got up there like a few days in advance, or
yeah. The fight was on Saturday. We were able to get up there on Wednesday and do Wednesday, Thursday,
right,
and Friday, Saturday, and we ended up getting back. We had a huge fiasco with the planes. I got a text at like 12:30 after the fight that our plane for 5 a.m. had been delayed for 2 weeks.
Oh, geez.
So
Right.
I got a hold of BKFC in the morning, and they were able to reschedule us some new flights, and they really took care of us.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And so then, Canada itself, did you just kind of chill in the hotel, or did you kind of, get to see anything cool, or you just kind of stay focused on your fight, stay where you're staying, and that's it?
Nah, brother, I'm a goer, man. I like to adventure. So whenever we got there, the first day was pretty much just working out and getting acclimated to the new climate and the altitude and stuff. But after that, I was filling my day full of like we were riding around and looking. There was a Elk Ridge National Park, and we were trying to see the Northern Lights, but it was too cloudy and stuff for that. But that definitely would have been an experience too.
Oh, wow. And like the guy that you fought, like how does that come about? Like, did you meet him there, or you met him prior to this, or how does that go?
I met him there. I had never seen him before. Whenever they offered me the contract, they told me who he was. He was a professional boxer, and he was a pretty bad dude. And I said, I'm a pretty bad dude myself, so I'm
Right.
gonna come in
Yeah.
there and see what's up.
Yeah.
And I got caught early in the first round in the back of the head, and kind of lost all feeling to my legs. But it was weird because my legs were numb, but I was still conscious, so I was still trying to fight. And my legs, I just couldn't feel them, so staying up on my feet was having a hard time doing that.
Yeah. That's when I rewatched it today because I watched it right after it. Right. I rewatched it today, and I rewound it several times, and I tried to like, you're the pro at this, not me. But I was like, okay, so rehashing it, and that first knockdown, I'm like, it looked like he caught you right in the back of the head, right?
Yeah,
And
apparently that was on me. I like, I'm a big fan of Dan Mergliotta, Big Dan, and he was the ref for that fight. Legendary ref. But it was on me. Apparently, I found out after the fight from one of the other refs that it was a back in the head blow, and
Right.
that if I would have said that to the ref, and expressed that, I would have been rewarded an amount of 5 minutes to try to regain my senses for the illegal shot. So looking back on it, it's just kind of live and you learn thing. But
yeah.
definitely, if I get caught in the back of the head again, I'm gonna take that time and make sure I get back in the fight at full advantage.
Now is that I don't know the rules. Is that allowed? Like a shot to the back of the head? Is that? Or
It's not allowed. It's an illegal shot. But I know he wasn't out there looking for a punch to the back of the head. It just happens between me weaving and him trying to find a good shot to land.
yeah, because I think you were trying to get like up in them, like to me, like there's that height difference. You look like a tall dude. You're a tall dude yourself, but like it looked to me like you're trying to get like on the inside up in them. And then
He had about 6 inches of reach and about 6.5 inches of height on me. So I was trying to slip that. I was trying to slip that one and come down and under to the left hand side and come back up with my own left hook. And on my way up, I had got caught like turning my head, caught it right behind the ear on the back ridge of my head.
yeah, and that's where like to me, you gain so much respect because like how many people would have just stayed down after that shot? You're talking about probably 99% of people are just staying down after that shot. And I was like, that's the shot. He got shot in the back of the head, and then you stay in there, and man, that's commendable. And then to the next round too. But I'm like, that initial shot to the back of the head just kind of, you could tell that just kind of put you, in that kind of like, like where you're just trying to recuperate, and I'm like, a lot of guys, man, they just stay down. You kept fighting, even when they checked you out, like, they said, like, you ask you where are you at, and you say Canada, and I'm like, that's awesome, man, that you just kept going,
Brother, that's why I've always been, try to idolize the heart of the lion aspect and overcoming adversity.
Right.
And that's part of why I got the lion tattooed over my heart is just being able to try and overcome every situation. Like I didn't even, whenever I was getting hit and kept falling down, I wasn't thinking about like, oh man, I know I've fell down so many times, but I just kept thinking like I gotta keep fighting. I gotta keep fighting until they tell me I can't fight anymore.
Right.
And I think that's just part of being from Plant City, bro. It's in our blood. It's grinding.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Thread Assassin, man. Like, and it's like, to me, the way, I look at boxers, I look at fighters, right? And I don't measure it on win-loss. I really don't. I measure it like what's in that fighter. Did they fight a hard fight? Like you take a guy like Mayweather, and yes, he's got talent, right? But I look at his record and go, it doesn't really mean that much to me that, he stays undefeated because a lot of it's like, controlled by him. And he's a great defensive fighter, right?
Yeah, and this one's a real controversial one that I've seen come to light recently. But Khabib Nurmagomedov,
Yeah.
his first like 10 fights were against bums, like real bums.
Right, right. So you go, who are you fighting? Were you fighting them past your prime, right? Did you really fight, or did you score points? And I know that happens in boxing. So I kind of just look at like, like I look at like the trilogy of the Gotti trilogy, or where those guys fought, and they just fought. You know what I mean? And it's like that's to me how you measure a fighter. Like, Ali wasn't undefeated. So it's like about just staying in there, and you look at the success of the Rocky movies. He didn't win every fight.
Yeah.
But
And
people,
that's the whole thing that they've built around boxing recently, and that's why they're kind of on their own. They think they're on their own pedestal. With everybody's trying to keep their and it's not always about having a zero on the other side of that win streak.
right?
Sometimes it's about testing yourself and actually getting to a point of becoming a champion.
Right, because me personally, I would label it as one of your most successful fights, and the reason why is because you take that brutal shot to the back of the head, and I'm not taking anything away from your opponent, right? Nothing at all. I mean, tremendous respect for that guy. That guy was a giant, lots of respect to him. But you take that shot to the back of the head, and you keep going, right? And then you go into the next round too. So to me, I've looked at a lot of your fights, not all of them, but a lot of them, and I'm like, this is like a successful fight because you took what could be probably the worst, knock on wood, but you took on something that's pretty bad, and you got up. You know what I mean? And you got up and you kept fighting. So I'm like, man, this is a good fight. And you're in literally another country, and he's got that country on his side because he's from there, right? And so you got you got a little similarity of Rocky IV going on, where you're in another country gaining respect. That because like I said, most guys would just kind of stay down and be like he caught, or like you said, get up and immediately start protesting that you got hit in the back of the head and get that 5 minutes or whatever, And I don't think that's in you.
I didn't even realize how, because I was just looking at it whenever it first happened. I was just looking at it on the loss standpoint, but I didn't realize how much camaraderie was going to come with it, with getting up every time. I had so many Canadians coming up to me and telling me what a badass I was and how tough I was. Even my opponent and his coach, I've ran into him throughout the night a few times, like 3 or 4 times, and every time I ran into him, they offered to buy me a beer. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, I can't believe that you kept getting up.
Yeah, and that's my view, man. Is like you go in, you have a fight, you smoke the dude in a minute and a half, and you knock him out, you do whatever. He doesn't do anything to you. Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely a highlight reel that you get the W, right? But does it measure the fighter? You know what I mean? And that's why I define it like as what I view as one of your most successful fights. Because the next fight, what happens when you don't take a shot to the back of the head? What's going to happen to that guy?
I'm thinking BKFC was thinking the same thing because they've already reached out to me about getting back into the ring. They offered me a fight on the May 11th card against a pretty good opponent who's like a big name guy for them. I'm not gonna call him out by name,
right?
Because I don't know exactly what happened, but they offered me the fight, and I was the underdog, but I felt like I could win it, so I said yes, and it never went through. So I don't know if he turned it down once it got to him, but it definitely they didn't contact me back after that. They asked me if I wanted a different opponent actually, so I'm assuming that he turned it down on the possibility that he might lose that little win streak he's on and the hype train he's got going.
Right. So we're clear.
I like to take the tough fights. I like to test my heart and how much I can go through.
Right. To me it's a lot better experience. It's a lot better for your mentality. You're a young man, right? To go in and have that experience, from a guy that I never would want to fight ever, even if I was in my 20s. But I'm saying you to get that experience, you know, instead of walking in and you're just beating up a punching bag. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
And
Yeah,
like I said, that makes a great highlight reel. Feeds that ego of ours. But this fight should be what feeds your ego because it showed you what you're made of, man. So
yes. And like I said, I'm in the midst of adopting two young boys right now, and I try to be a great role model for them.
right,
And nobody wants to see their dad lose, but you got to teach them that you got to get up.
yeah,
Life is going to knock you down. Everybody's going to knock you down. Somebody in this world is going to knock you down while you're trying hard. And you
right.
just got to keep on trying. You got to pull yourself together and keep on digging.
And like I said, I cough it up like on paper, loss. In life, more of a lesson than a loss. Take it like this was a lesson that you learned. What are you made of? What can you take? Right? What would other guys do? All those scenarios. So as of now, are you fighting May 11th or is it not a go?
The no go for May 11th. That was the Connecticut card, but I'm trying my damnedest to get on the June 21st card down in Hollywood, Florida, so I can at least get some kind of home field fight. I have people asking me constantly when I'm going to fight again in Florida because they want to come.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
I'm trying to get a fight down here so I can get a home base down there.
right.
But I posted on social media the other day, kind of like a call to action. I said, somebody send me a contract. I'm ready to whoop your ass.
That's what
And
made
sure enough,
me reach out. I'm like, what is he brewing? Right? I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, sure enough, man. Apparently, it made BKFC wonder the same thing because they text me and said, "Well, wait, you want to bang at?" So I'm ready. I'm probably gonna go at 205 this time and find me somebody to go bang and beat up because I'm looking to get my hands bloody and cut somebody up this time.
yeah, man, do it. So, all right. Well, once again, man, you've been a great guest. I love having you on, man. And I'll give you a piece of advice. I had an old boss give this to me recently. Right? He said, when you go into something, there's two ways to look at it. Right? You go into something and you say, am I fighting to not lose, or am I fighting to win? Right? And I'm like,
Yes,
what the heck's
sir.
that mean? But I think you just take that with you, right? Like, you're not fighting to not lose. You're fighting to win, right? You got
Yes,
that
sir.
lion's heart, man. You're hungry. You're still young. You're still in this. And like I said, man, thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. No problem, brother. And like you said, I got a young heart. I just turned 25 the other day, and I've got plenty of time left in me, ready to go.
There you go, man. All right, well, I'll talk to you later, DJ. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Of course, brother. Thank you for
I,
having me.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
All right, everyone. That was DJ TICE. Always a great guest. Excited. Hopefully, he gets that fight in Hollywood, Florida. He's a Florida boy. And like I said, great guests to have on. Wish him all the best. And go on YouTube, check out his fight, check out what we were talking about. And thank you for coming on, and we'll talk to you later.